Just get your thoughts on Kentucky after scouting their first 2 games of the season, and what sort of problems they pose for you guys. And
I should have said this before the first question, and usually we do a statement, but I know what everybody's here to talk about, and I want to talk about it. He does, and I know everybody here does as well. I do want to say, first of all, it's a big week in our department. Huge football game on Friday against Clemson. Volleyball's continuing to kill it. Dan's done an unbelievable job. The ACC is ridiculous this year in volleyball. I mean, you're third in your conference, you're fifth in in the country, or whatever it is, fifth or sixth. That means your conference is really good. They're coming home for 2 big games tonight. Women's basketball had a big win last night. KFD, Karen, our soccer coach, I call her KFD. Their selection show is today, and huge fan of hers. She's been here a long time. They've had a heck of a season. So we're very, very hopeful there. I think cross country has the regional meet this week. Tennis, we have a doubles pair that is in the NCAA tournament. Their selection show is tonight as well. The legend, the man, the myth, the legend, Arthur, with swim and dive, continues to do what he does and kill it. Big win this week against Kentucky, big wins against Notre Dame. If I'm forgetting someone, Dana. So anyway, obviously there's a really big one tomorrow with men's basketball, and we're excited. So your question again was what? I'm sorry.
Going back and as you watch the film of UK, what stands out to you heading into this game that you've seen so far?
Well, obviously they're very good. Coaches for the most part put more stock in like Ken Palm rankings than they do Associated Press rankings. And Ken Palm has them the number 1 team in the country for a reason. They're very talented. They're very good on both ends of the floor. They're very well coached, and it's a big challenge, and we're excited about the opportunity.
I guess for both of you, could you get some kind of feel for what this rivalry is like compared to, say, Xavier UC that you grew up knowing about and that you participated in a little bit, Ryan?
Yeah, I would say they definitely have their similarities and differences. At the end of the day, they're just very, very good basketball games. 2 great teams competing against one another, whether it's Xavier versus UC or, here at Louisville and Kentucky. I know that, the rivalry runs deep, and I know that it'll be a very competitive game, and, I'm sure we'll be ready.
So.
Yeah, it's what makes college basketball great. We were both part of that rivalry up in Cincinnati, and it's the same thing here in this state. And, from a national perspective, it's as big as it gets as well from a rivalry perspective.
Pat, you guys faced Jalen Lowe last season when he was at Pitt. Just what does he bring to this Kentucky team, and how do you prepare for him to kind of change what you've seen so far?
Yeah, he's a terrific player, terrific point guard, very explosive, very good in the pick and roll, quick burst, veteran. Has been a part of a bunch of big games. He's very well coached. So obviously we have a familiarity with him because we played him a couple times last year. But he presents a lot of problems, and we have to do a great job with him.
Pat, Kason Pryor was able to make his season debut in the last game and played 16 minutes. Heading into this game against Kentucky, do you think he's going to be on a minutes restriction still, or is he a full go now?
You said, do I think he's still going to be on a minutes restriction?
If he's going to be on a minutes restriction at all.
He wasn't on one the other day. If you're out there, you're out there.
Pat, when you look at this team and kind of from the Kansas exhibition until now, what have you liked that they've really improved, that they've really done, you guys have been focused on since that exhibition game?
Focusing on what we always focus on, and that's, trying to get better at every single little nuance of our offense and defensive system. That was a little bit of a litmus test because we hadn't played against anybody else. And obviously it was a really good team and a great atmosphere. But we learned a lot about ourselves that night that we used to address in the subsequent practices. But we learned a lot about ourselves in the Bucknell game and in the South Carolina State game and the Jacksonville State game as well. As a coach, that's one of my favorite things about the growth of your team and the progression of your team moving forward is daily getting better every single day. But our guys didn't approach the next day after those other 3 games than they did after Kansas. It's always about trying to get better in our system.
Pat, with this game so early in the season, is the weight of what a win means maybe a little less because you guys are not fully going at what you think this team is going to be at the end of the season?
I'm sorry, could you say that again one more time?
Yeah, so
I was
like
a little distracted because people never call me Pat anymore. It's always PK or coach or dad, or when somebody calls me Pat, I'm like, oh yeah, that's my name.
it is your name. Happy to use it. Is the weight of this game maybe a little less because of how early it is in the season and you know that this team is only going to grow and develop throughout maybe the end of it?
I don't think the weight of this game's any less. I mean, it's a big game. We're very well aware of that. You guys have heard me in press conferences many times that I always say the most important game in the history of Louisville basketball is the next one we play in. The next one we play in is against our rival in a really big setting under a really big spotlight. And we're approaching it the same way we do everyone, but we're very, very well aware of the stakes and the spotlight. And we're just excited about the opportunity. It's going to be a big time college game and a big time college atmosphere. And, they're going to find out a lot about themselves, as are we, by the end of it. And the whole season's a marathon, not a sprint. Obviously, this is as early, I think, this game has ever been played. There's been a lot of talk as to why, as to whether we like it better, we like it worse. I don't know. Right now, it's the advantage of no choice. I know one thing outside, it feels like the dead of winter because it's so cold I can't even see straight getting out of my car. So it does feel like it's kind of a February game, but we're excited.
Go ahead, Russ. Pat. Oh, you Pat. When you watch Kentucky, what stands out about them both offensively and defensively?
I mean, what stands out is they're very good. They're very well coached. They have positional size. They're strong. They're athletic. They're physical from a defensive perspective, and they're good in their system from an offensive perspective. Same thing. They're very talented. In a lot of ways, a lot like us. They're talented. They're very deep. They play very fast on the offensive end. They're very good in transition, and then in the half court, they execute and they run their stuff. So, even before I turned on the tape and start watching them. Obviously, you knew the caliber of talent they have, and I have a lot of respect for the way they're coached and their system and things like that. So, we got to be at our best, but I'm sure they're saying the same thing.
Sorry, Tom.
Coach, did you have anything to do with Mark Pope getting jury duty? And have you ever had jury duty?
I've never had jury duty. No, never have. Did he actually have to do it?
No.
Did he get out of it?
He had to call in on Saturday, but he doesn't have it.
That makes sense. How about that? That's pretty funny. No, I've never had it though. Knock on wood.
Ryan, since you committed to U of L, how much have you heard about this rivalry, and what do you just your general thoughts on it?
I've heard about this rivalry since I was a kid. So just having the opportunity to actually be able to play in this game is a blessing. And I just want to take full advantage of it and not take it for granted, but just committing here and all the fans, talking about the games and just hyping the game up, it lets me know this is a big game, and we'll be ready.
Pat, I know a lot of people have talked about your relationship with Mark and things this summer and all that kind of stuff. How much do you guys know each other really before you both got hired in these jobs?
I mean, I was familiar with him just because in the coaching fraternity, we're all in gyms together. So I've spoken to him. Probably the biggest connection was he was at Wake Forest. And I was at Wake Forest, obviously at different times, but we know so many of the same people, like Lynn Heflin, who's the longtime basketball executive assistant, Marianne Justice, longtime executive assistant and secretary to basketball, both men and women. And in Mark's role, when he was at Wake, and in my role when I was at Wake, we worked, for instance, with those people. And, those people become like family. They become like second mothers to you. So I don't know if Lenny and Marianne are watching this, they're probably laughing because I've just talked to them several times and they've shared stories about their time with Mark, and I'm sure they've done the same thing with me. But before I got here, didn't know each other well. As I told you many times, I have a lot of respect for him.
Pat, after the last game, Kaysen had some choice words about this rivalry. How do you feel about that? Do you like the passion of it or kind of discourage that?
I mean, have you guys ever met Kaysen? I mean, Kaysen's very much of a free spirit, and I love him for it because that's who he is at his core. He's unapologetically himself. He'll come in with the pink socks and the moon boots and some of the wildest stuff that you ever seen in your life. That's Kaysen. And KP's the type that like he loves the moment. He loves the smoke. He loves all of that. He loves the banter. He loves, the social media stuff, which I hate. Ignorance is bliss. I don't look at any of it, unfortunately. Kids these age, they do. Kids my children's age, they do. But, Dana's the best in the country at what she does.
Don't interrupt. Football's Friday. We have Florida State on ESPNU at 7 at LNN. And then on Sunday, we'll play Miami. I forgot it right, didn't I?
Sunday, Miami. It's a weird week because of football, yeah.
So and Miami,
Sunday,
of course,
Miami
is the one that knocked off Pitt. So this and Florida State's been good traditionally. So we're getting in the real teeth of our schedule. So go ahead and have an opening statement.
Yeah, so coming off a nice weekend, we played NC State on Friday and then Wake Forest on Sunday. Friday against NC State, played really solid, got a sweep in that match against a good team that fought back really hard in the third, and very similar to a few matches we've had the last couple of weeks where really kind of cruised in the first two sets, got pushed towards the end of the third and did a good job closing it out. And then Wake Forest on Sunday we played very, very poorly and won the match. So not very often you get to win and learn. A lot of times you win or learn. And, we knew Wake Forest would kind of challenge us with, tipping a lot and kind of putting balls in the middle of our court. And we just didn't respond to that very well in the second set, and they won that. And then we were starting to feel some pressure in the third. I think we were down maybe 8-3 and really righted the ship. I thought, Chloe Chacoin really stuck out to me as a leader who stepped up, and she just played fantastic through the whole weekend, and was a big reason we were able to get out of Wake Forest in 4. Kind of an interesting trip. I think we lost NC State in 2023 at their place, and then we went 5 with Wake last year. We just always struggled with that trip. So really fortunate and excited to get 2 wins. And then, as Nancy said, we are looking at Miami on one of our first Thursday, maybe our only Thursday matches of the week. Florida State on Thursday, and then Miami on Sunday. Florida State, it's very interesting. The head coach of Wake Forest was a longtime assistant at Florida State, and I thought that Wake Forest attacked us very similar to how Florida State most likely will. They always run a really good offense. So very good opportunity to correct some things we saw on Sunday, because I think we're going to see a lot of similar things on Thursday.
Yeah, a big picture question. Where you've got, I think, 6 matches left before the tournament. Where do you think you stand? Are you pleased with your progress? And where would you like to see improvement the rest of the way?
So big picture wise, I think we have about 6 matches left. You said pleased. Like, I think we're a program, easy to please, hard to satisfy. So it's like we're pleased with a lot of the progress, especially offensively, going from the 6-2 to the 5-1. I think that was a big question mark of how that would look. And I think right now we're hitting maybe 290 in conference, which is really good for in-conference play. If you're around 300, I mean, that's really, really spectacular. So I think we're pretty pleased with what we've seen offensively, and then we've kind of stuck with our identity defensively, and we're still kind of right where we've been past years. So again, pretty pleased with the progress we've seen. A big credit to Nael Escobedo. I think does a great job offensively of kind of getting everybody involved. We've got, you'll see some teams, Sunday in particular, Miami has a player that, they'll set sometimes 80, 90 times. We've never really structured our roster that way, and we've had a lot of success kind of using everybody, and I think we're doing a good job getting a lot of contributions from a lot of different people.
You mentioned your defensive identity. How would you describe that?
Well, we talk about just, relentless defense, tenacious defense. That's almost an ode to like the 90s, whoever that NBA announcer was, tenacious defense. But the interesting thing this year is, we've traditionally been a great blocking team. We've led the country in blocking multiple seasons. We just feel really confident about the way that we block and the way we have a presence at the net. The interesting thing this year, and I think the thing that's really fun about watching us this year, is we're the best defensive backcourt team that I've ever been around, maybe in my entire career, for sure, at Louisville. We lead the conference right now in digging, which is a lot of times rare if you're hitting for a high percentage. Not to get too much in the weeds, but in volleyball, the more digs that you're getting, the longer the rallies are. Well, the longer the rallies are, sometimes you're not killing the ball. It's not really good to have a lot of digs sometimes. For us to be able to hit close to 300 in conference, but also lead the conference in digging, is kind of an anomaly statistically. So I love what we do with our backcourt defense. The big part of that is, our two outsides who've been starting, Chloe Chacoin and Peyton Peterson, they could probably be liberos for us as well. So we kind of feel like we have three liberos on the court. We just, two of them happen to hit.
Dan, as a program, you guys have had a great success developing players and kind of bringing them along. You've got some freshmen who don't play a lot, and then they keep getting better and playing more and more. Is that something in volleyball now that is a concern to keep players? Is it possible there's going to be as much movement as there has been in some of the other sports?
It's not a concern here. I think, we always say recruiting wise, it's like when players don't, choose not to come here, we're like, well, they might not have been any good here, because we're pretty authentic with what this experience is going to be. You have to have a long-term view. And, we have shirts that say us always on the back. And the motto there is, sometimes me, sometimes you, but us always. So, it's not always going to be your time to lead the program in attempts or kills or whatever it is, but you got to work towards when that time is coming. A couple of freshmen that stick out, Chloe Meester has been redshirting for us, but most times when I talk to coaches, they're like, who's that kid warming up? And I will point out, I'd be like, don't miss warmups. You want to see some of these future superstars that we're creating. Addison McCoon hasn't played a ton. She's our third middle, but she's gotten some experience. And sometimes you'll catch in matches that, like, Kara Cressy is basically a pro amongst, college players, and she'll do something and we'll go to Addison and be like, Addison, did you see what you just did there? Like, you're going to be doing that in a year. And we're always building towards the future while still trying to attack winning now. And that's what the foundation of this program is. That's what it'll continue to be. And we feel really confident about it.
How did Miami beat Pitt? And so how can we beat Miami?
That's a great question. So very, very different game plans. So, we've had some marquee wins and we've come up short with a couple big time teams as well. But we've always been very, very spread out with our offense. Now, Miami, they took a different approach. So, at Pitt, they set their one superstar, 90 times, and Miami set theirs 90 times, and Miami won that battle. Our team is not designed that way. So we are going to have a great defensive game plan against their super stud on the left side. And then we've talked about all year just dominating first contact. And I think in those matches where we weren't able to get over the hump against those top teams, it wasn't for lack of, being able to kill the ball in certain moments. It was, the basics just kind of failing us at the wrong time. We have to be good for a long period of time. So we know that recipe works. So I do think in attacking Miami, it will be a different game than they had against Pitt, because we're designed different ways. And that's what I think makes volleyball fun. So we're going to have to have a great defensive game plan against their superstar. And then we're going to have to be fantastic in first contact, which has served us really well this year.
Get back to the tournament a little bit. do you feel like you're in contention for a number one seed, or where do you think the seeding stands?
I've always thought the ACC, especially, in 2020 when the ACC really kind of, pivoted and, us and Pitt and Georgia Tech at the time, and we had all these teams in the top 15, top 10. I've always thought if you win the conference that you would get a top 4 seed. And we haven't had a conference winner with the exception of Florida State when they shared the conference title a few years ago, that hasn't gotten that top seed. So for us, we still have an opportunity. We're sitting in second with 2 losses. Stanford and Pitt both have 1. They play each other this weekend, and then we play both of those teams at the end of the year. So, from a technical standpoint, we do control our own destiny within the conference. And again, I've always felt if you win the ACC outright, you should get that top 4 seed. So for us, we're trying to win the conference, and then I think the chips will fall where they may. And I think the committee's done a really good job in recent past of how the seeds have gone and all of that. And we're trying to take care of one match at a time in our conference. We feel really fortunate to be able to play in such a competitive conference.
Talk about Florida State a little bit and what they bring, and they've just been consistently good throughout the years, and they're right behind that first tier, and I know they're super hungry. So talk about what they do well.
A big credit to Florida State for working with us with the Friday football game. This is the first Thursday-Sunday conference matches I think I've ever been a part of. So their coach Chris Poole has been there for a long time. I've talked about this in past press conferences about. He is basically the creator of our conference schedule. So our conference schedule, it's unbalanced. And then the last 4 matches of the year are RPI based. And he's he's a big reason that the ACC volleyball wise is where it's at, because we've gotten so many teams in the conference or in the NCAA tournament because of Chris Poole's idea for how we do our conference schedule. So I was really thankful to them for working with us to get this Thursday match. But as far as what they do, I think offensively, we're going to see some things that we saw against Wake Forest, which worked against us. So it's nice we have a couple days to prep and learn from what happened against Wake Forest with their head coach formerly working at Florida State. But they're just always a great offensive team. They've got a really, really good left side who's carried them in some matches. And they're just a team that doesn't go away. They're, typically very physical at the net, and they're a really, really tough team. So it's going to be a great Thursday night match.
Anybody else? Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Go Cards.
Laurel's also open for questions. You want any few insight into his psyche?
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, Rob.
I gotta ask him an hour's worth of questions. So that.
Sir.
A man of the people.
The people say what? How did the old, that old name go?
Dang, chill. What the heck even is that? I also saw this one. So finish up. Peanut butter. Well, yes. So.
Oh, I'm not gonna say, but I know what you're talking about.
I know. But you, okay, you know what I'm gonna get.
I just wanted to say it. I wanted to see your.
Yeah, you skipped ahead, but it's fine. You know where I was going with it. Dad, you were dying. He was like, say it.
Right. You ain't gonna catch me slipping.
Oh, shoot.
You go.
No, I'm not.
You know what time it is?
Wednesday, the day is saying it's gonna come out. There. And it's supposed to.
Prices are.
Looks like it. It's gonna be email. Oh, my God. I did like the governor's crap stuff. It's Friday. Or just music. Basically like that, they see them advertising. You should.
So someone who is smarter than I cannot do the shape that like you can plug and play the final ACC games. I think it's like what the files do. So it's not quite a easy scenario, but we'll walk in. Virginia wins out. It splits between Georgia Tech and then there's a whole bunch of scenarios. Some of them are a little out there, but there's a scenario that you get. Yeah, it's very, they may help me, so it's very unlikely. The one game they won, the one that came up for this, you still have. Which, you know? Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not sure what you're at. I mean, I've tried it, but. I think they'll be close because it's still a big time game. You've seen a lot of growth in those years. I have a favorite of being close to that. I was like, I would say, dude. Nothing changes. They just do shots. Just slide it on there. But Michael Carter was the second backup. Yeah. It's possible. It's possible. Not just the numbers. Men lie, women lie. Stats don't lie. And I'm using the manipulate a little bit, but we could have a 7-way tie for first place, which will.
Go to a gas station, flip a coin, and they're doing Texas.
I cannot believe that. Wow.
Just post it. Same with just, they said, we were asking, they said, Bills, how many, 3, that's a lot of much.
I can say that. I don't know.
I guess I'm sleeping.
Because I mean, like Louisville and SMU, like they're gonna talk about so they went out. Maybe Jordan are going to repeat each other's equation. They really need because they have the tiebreaker. And then Zoom, and they got to play. Wake Forest looks like they did it. They'll do it. You really like break it down. It's not super. It's going to take a while. It's still not super fun finish. It's all predicates on who they can have. That's a different subject. They beat the corpse of Florida State. Let's be honest. But like, no, I don't. I'm saying it's still.
I was like, I was there. But that's not. So, and I was. I mean, like, yeah, you can sit here and like on your computer and like, older than me. Yes.
Before we even started, I realized that was such a lot of
Mine's like 66. See what it was he would even go. He was they got seen around once. How much you want?
If you think Miller is walking, I'm thinking JKS.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got this time. You actually came up. You better on the arcade side. Come with the one right between the state. Yeah, that's the one. We drove on the every time most of it. Crossing Washington, Stevenson, Washington Bridge. Very cool. Town, we stayed there. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Tell my wife it's hard. Vermont, yeah, Maine, New Hampshire, backpack for those 3 states.
Yeah, that's whenever she came over. Even before that, just said, first time, she was then she's at work. As far as I'm concerned, there's no doubt in my mind that she will know where it was. No. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. I was wrong. And I'm cool with that. It is what it is. Not long after. Right. I got one better than the vinegar one you was trying to get us with. There's one. It's just it's like they're like friends. It's like chubby white. Feel like he's like they do like skits together all the time. He walks in the one with Chick-fil-A.
Well, we got to get back to work and get ready for a tough football game this Friday night. Great opportunity to play a really good football team. Ton of talent, a lot of history, great coaching. It'll be a tough matchup for us that we got to prepare well and go out there and try to find a way to execute better and for all 60 minutes and find a way to win. So it's a very important game. Why? Because it's the next game. But it'll be a tough matchup. We're going to have to play well and do a really good job. So we're excited to get back to work and to move forward and to try to win this next game.
Clemson's defense was obviously built preseason. They've done some good things, have a lot of NFL caliber talent. What stands out to you the most when you look at that side of the ball?
Exactly that. They look the part. They're big, they're fast, they're athletic, talented. Early on, I think they just had a couple busts in what they were doing. I'm sure it's probably just some communication issues. Looks like they've cleaned most of that up for now, and they're all on the same page, and they're a really good football team.
Jeff, when you look at a film, you look at a win, you always say you learn even things when you look at a win. When you look at a loss like you had the other night, does it obviously probably makes you even more upset than you were? But what do you learn from that? How do you as a coach kind of take what you saw on film and learn from it and try to teach the guys on what not to do, some of the things?
Well, we can learn a lot from it without question. We spent all day yesterday doing that and dissecting that, going through that in detail, and just some small things here and there that I know we could have done better in all aspects. I could have coached better. We could have been a little more focused on the details of what we're doing, and those little things cost us. Unfortunately, you lose a game. It's no fun, and you got to regroup, man up, and go back to work and figure out a way to win the next one.
Jeff, after the game, you talked a lot about lack of toughness. After 9 games, how do you change that? What approach do you take to change that criticism?
Well, I'm sure I probably exaggerated somewhat because I was angry about the loss. I think we have a tough football team. Like I said, could we have been a little more focused on some details? Yes. Sometimes when that focus isn't there, we look at ourselves as coaches and say, okay, we got to simplify this and make it easier so that we don't lose focus. So I think it was just some small details as we go back and watched that we could have been better at. In my opinion, in order to win in this league, you got to bring your A game. You got to coach well. You got to play well. You got to find a way to win. We've lost 2 games in overtime, we're just got to correct some of those things as we see them and proceed forward and try to be aggressive in our approach moving forward.
When you say small details, is it just mental lapses? Is it technical type things? What were the small details that you noticed that you want to get corrected?
Well, I'd have to get out a notebook here and go through all of them. Like I said, I think sometimes we had some mental bust that cost us. Sometimes I think with that we can simplify some calls maybe to help them not have some mental bust that cost us. I think we had some, costly penalties that hurt some drives. You go back and okay, how can we get more points? How can we move the ball? How can we eliminate these penalties? How can we cover better? How can we get after the quarterback better? How can we, it's just a lot of things. I mean, every game contains a ton of plays, and we've dissected it fully, and I think we understand what we could have done better at and what we need to try to improve on. And now we got to go do that. But every week is a different opponent. They're going to do different things. It's going to be a different game. So at any time, all these things can come up, and you just got to be as sharp as you can and be able to adjust when those things are happening.
How did Duke feel after the game, kind of coming back from injury? And then what's the status on Stanquan and Isaac?
Well, I think, we always have a few people that get nicked up in the game, and the same thing happened in the last one. As far as Isaac, we will still just proceed forward and try to get him ready as fast as we can. I'm not optimistic it'll be this week for sure, but we'll see how that goes. And with Stanquan, he has been progressing. We're going to continue to try to get him ready for this game.
Because when you're facing a team like Clemson, who has talent at just about every position, but they're not having the season they wanted to, they still can make a bowl. How dangerous can they be, when they're coming in kind of hungry and still upset about how their season's gone?
Well, we don't look at their record. We look at the film and their talent, and they're a very talented team, and they know how to play football. And I think sometimes when you're punched in the gut early on, you refocus and regroup. You can tell they've done that. They have very talented players. NFL prospects at a ton of positions. They've won at a high level in the past, and I know there's a lot of season left to play. So they could easily finish this thing strong and be right back where they want to, and I'm sure that's their plan, and that wouldn't shock me because they're a very talented football team, and those guys have been there and done that. So we're going to have to play well, and we're going to have to really execute at a high level and be ready to go from play one to the very end.
Jeff, what do you think of Duke Watson, and is he back to 100% or not?
Well, I thought he got in there and did a good job. I wouldn't say 100%, but he came back and he got some reps, so that's good. Hopefully he'll be even more ready to go this week.
After the game, you were talking about facing a really good throwing quarterback and how he was able to work against you guys. And watching the film, are there things that you notice that you can improve as you continue to progress and get ready to face some more good, solid passing quarterbacks?
Without question, that there are, and we are. These last 4 games, including the last one, will be the 4 best quarterbacks we play. And when you do that, you've got to be really sharp. You have to have a good plan. I thought up until the past game, we had really improved on a lot of things, and we got a little exposed on some of that. But I think that our guys understand what we could have done better in some of those areas. We'll work hard to do the best job we can this week. This team will work hard. They play hard. They do play tough. They play to the end. We've had 2 overtime losses that we could have won. We just got to find a way to get over that hump. And there's plenty more challenges ahead, including this one and more beyond. So we will have to really be dialed in. This is a quarterback with a ton of experience. He's got good weapons, good offensive line. So yes, we will have to be as sharp as we possibly can in the secondary and covering the pass.
Jeff, you've talked about details several times. What details do you work with Miller this week? And again, a lot of batted balls the other night, which we really hadn't seen a whole lot of, this year.
Well, there's a lot of things that happened in the passing game. I think obviously you work on keeping your eyes up the field, going through the progression. We've got to be able to firm up the protection a little bit and keep the pass rush away. When there's batted balls, it's not just because they're being batted. There's some push in the backfield on that. I think we always work on ways to get him easy completions and get him in a rhythm and get him feeling good. We've got to work on getting open versus press and tight coverage. We've got to be able to throw the ball over their head more. All those things come into play. And when that happens, you just got to take care of the football as best you can. And, playing quarterback at a high level is not easy. You've got to just continue to work hard and put in the work. And we'll take some things that we saw on video and work them hard this week as much as we can. Miller works extremely hard, and I know he'll put in the work to continue to improve and get better. And we've got to continue to improve and get better as an offense and put the best plan together for those guys so that they can excel at it. And if that means changing some things up here and there, we've got to be ready to do that and be aggressive in our approach.
Jeff, you guys had obviously some success last year facing Clemson with the program's first win, especially in Death Valley. I mean, it's a lot of turnover, but still some of the same pieces. Is there anything, and if so, what are some of those things you can take from that winning strategy last year and kind of implement it on this team?
Well, I'd rather not give away all that, but last year we were able to do some things effectively on them. We changed some things up early that I thought got us in a rhythm. Our defense played really good. We blocked multiple kicks. The ball bounced our way, to be quite honest with you. And we made some plays along there to do that and got out to a lead, which was important. So I just think, it'll be a challenge again. And that's the key is going out there and being ready to go from play one to the end. And you try to get a lead, but if you don't, you got to just continue to swing and battle and play hard. And, we have played hard. We've had our chances. We've just got to finish things in the end when the game is close.
Jeff, you mentioned a second ago needing to maybe switch up some things with the passing games if need be. Is there a world in which if Miller Moss has another game like he had against Cal that you can maybe see yourself giving Brady Allen or Deuce Adams a chance?
Well, we believe in Miller, and we believe in all of our quarterbacks. We'll always have a plan ready for all of them at some point in different aspects, which we've done before. At the same time, we just got to continue to work through these things and be as effective as we can. And without question, there's always a plan to help us win. So we'll have that ready to go. Thank you.
So then he walks in, he's like, sorry, I'm late, man. I had to get some Chick-fil-A. Oh, man, you couldn't get me, man. And then just watch it. It's Yeah, so that was kind yeah, there's a yeah, there's always a point to go this way. So where's that?
Yes.
Which is fun. It's great. It's that year, like everything. You're right on international. Yeah, there are lucky people that feels like your job.
I think that's it.
Morning.
I'm a little shorter, so.
Chris, Jeff was just in here talking about the details that you guys need to go over with the guys and watching that film. What, from your group and how it kind of puts in with the offense, what do you guys have to do better to help this team, moving forward?
I think we all have to self-examine. Anytime you go through a loss, there's a lot of things in the film that you need to really dive into. And with my group, I always preach the details. That's nothing new. It's nothing they've never heard. We just want to try to be more detailed in the passing game as far as our eyes in protection, being able to match body on body when we are seeing pressures, to give our quarterback a chance to make sound decisions with the football, have the room to operate, and feel confident in the pocket. So there's a lot of detail that goes into that as far as our technique is concerned in pass protection, making sure we're on the same page with the O-line, to make sure that we give him a clean pocket, and make sure also that we get out in the passing game when we need to, and give him check down options, so that we can be more efficient and continue to progress the ball down the field. But always continue to stress the importance of being detailed in the running game with our running tracks, helping out the O-line and their blocking schemes, understanding the types of fronts we're seeing. So all those things matter, and it's all a part of being successful.
Obviously, it was big to get Duke back this week. He's been out for a little bit. The last 2 games before, he had early exits. I guess 2-part question. What was that like in kind of acclimating him back and making sure that he was really, really good? And then how nice was it to just see him, get that first touchdown and kind of just look like a little bit like himself?
Yeah, it was great to get Duke back. I know as we were going through it yesterday, some of the mistakes and correcting some of the mistakes in the walkthrough, I know that Miller Moss, he made a point to come to me and say, Coach, I miss Duke. It's good to have him back around. And, he's a great teammate. Even when he was out, he was still very locked into it on the sideline. And just using that time to really lock in and really understand the game from ways that he maybe hasn't studied it before. And I challenged him on those in those areas where, as much as you want to be out there while you're dealing with what you're dealing with, it's important that you continue to grow in this time and watch and study the game and understand how other people have success and how do you have success and how can you translate that to your game. And so that was great having him back. I mean, he gives us a jolt of energy that we really, I think it's infectious for the offense. He's a relentless runner. His legs never die until he's all the way on the ground, and that's something it's a great attribute that he has. He has great vision. And he's a courageous runner. I mean, he might not be the biggest guy on the block, but he runs strong. And I know for him, it's been a challenging season because he's kind of been in and out a little bit, just hampered by injuries. So I definitely wanted to get him some work, and I wanted to win the game, obviously. But I was really wanting to come out of that game with him being healthy, and I think that was great for him. He's in a really good headspace right now. So we're excited about where he is and what Keywan Brown is doing as well.
A few weeks ago, you were in here and you called Keywan your security blanket. I'm wondering if the other night you were feeling warm and cozy.
Yeah, absolutely. I told you guys before the season, I feel like I have 3 starters, and I've never wavered from that. I believe that, and I think that you guys are starting to see that. And he's just one of those guys that needed opportunity. And he was behind 2 shooting stars in Duke and Isaac. And in his first year was Isaac Orindo and Jawar Jordan. And so he's kind of just been, like I told him, kind of stuck in the back seat for a couple of years. And now, for one reason or another, I mean, he's had a chance to get his opportunity. And I think he's taking full advantage of it. He just has a light in his eye right now. I've known the kid since he was a junior in high school. And I've seen him operate against some great competition in the greater Atlanta area. So I had full faith in what the kid could do. It's just a matter of him getting the opportunity. And now he's gotten that. And I think he's chomping at the bit. He's excited about what's going on right now.
With Isaac on the sidelines, how is he approaching kind of talking to Duke, talking to Keywan about what they can do maybe to find holes or kind of what he's seeing throughout the game?
Oh, man, I mean, he's been tremendous. He's been awesome. Very into it on the sideline, talking to those guys after I make the coaching points with them, show them the video. I mean, he's right there with them, and he's right here on my side throughout the entire game. He wants to know every call. He's even talking to whichever guy's not in at that time. Hey, did you see this? Did you see this front? Did you see that they brought the Cowboy Blitz? All those little things. So, I mean, he's even growing during this time as well. And so I really challenged him because this is kind of the first time he's been out, at all. And so it's been challenging for them. They're young guys and they want to play. And so it's important that we also understand that in order for us to grow, we have to grow in seasons where it may not be as fruitful. We may not be on the field as much. But that doesn't mean we have to stop growing. We can still continue to grow and watch the game from a different perspective, understand it from different angles. And I think it's been beneficial for him. So, I mean, he's been tremendous. Just excited about where he is, mentally right now, and just helping the guys out. It's been awesome.
When you look at Clemson, what do you see from their defense, especially obviously against the rush?
I mean, tremendous talent. Like every year, I mean, Davo and that staff have done a great job recruiting and acquiring talent. The front is very challenging. They've got 2 of the better defensive linemen, I think, in the country. I mean, just as a unit, they're long, they're athletic. They create disruption in the backfield, and so we've got to be prepared for that. And then Tom Allen has done a good job of instilling his principles into that defense, the discipline at all 3 levels. I think the linebacking core, they've got some veterans there, and they move around. They're fast, and in the back end, I mean, they make plays. And we saw them get after Florida State this past weekend, so it's going to be a tremendous challenge. And I think our guys coming off of last week are excited to get back on the field and prove that we're ready to go. And it'll be a great challenge for us, but one that we've been looking forward to, and one that we definitely have a lot of respect for this opponent and the coaching staff and what they've done and what they've been able to build there. But at the same time, I think our kids are excited about the opportunity. Appreciate you all.
Hey, folks, I apologize. We're having to dip out of this press conference right now because I need to switch gears and go to a different event that's happening with Veterans Day. So I'm sure sports will have much more on the cards coming up later. It's cold outside, bundle up, and I will see you on another stream here shortly.